Hello learners, today we are going to discuss about BPC 145 block 5, that is contemporary trends in psychology. So we are going to see first Indian approaches to counseling. Uh, we all know that India is a religious group and dealing all sorts of issues since the inception of the human being. So what we are going to discuss today, the counseling in Indian context, indigenous approaches developed in India only, then implication of Indian cultural context for counseling, and what is the way forward. So first we are seeing the indigenous approaches. So psychology in India is basically interwoven with the philosophical and religious context. So we all know that the dharmas, the darshanas, the different sects of Hindu religions, were actually is there since beginning of the say, zone in Indian context. It is blend of philosophy, mythology, theology, and cosmology. Ancient Indian texts like Srimad Bhagavad Gita provide constructs and insights of psychological theories of counseling. We will be discussing in little bit detail about the Srimad Bhagavad Gita later on. But actually, like the Mahabharata, Ramayana, all those sorts of religious books were there since beginning, and people used to follow these things like a philosophy of their life, and it is basically the way of living lives. So that's why in India you find people live in a different manner. They follow certain sect, religion, and they uh, follow those things. For example, in Bhagavad Gita, like there it is emphasized about the three aspects of the leading life. Like it is talked about Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. So Karma Yoga is for those who believe in working like social work and doing lots of karmas. Uh, and Jnana Yoga is like increasing the knowledge about the God, the life, the universe. And Bhakti Yoga is like chanting mantras and devoting his or her life for the God. So all three leads to moksha. We'll discuss in detail later on. So we all know that Vedas are considered as mother of all the religious thoughts and the lifestyle practiced by the humankind. And the Upanishad can be considered as the primary source of information related to counseling practices in India. So there is an there are several Upanishad and four Vedas, 18 Upanishad and four Vedas. We all know that. And then Veda provide basically Veds provide explanation about various psychological constructs, including mind and mental illness. And Upanishads they give explanation to concepts like perception, consciousness, thought, etc. So mental health problems and psychopathology can be understood in terms of disequilibrium of three dosas and three gunas. We all know that in Ayurveda also and religious books also they have talked about the three dosa. Three means three. Three doshas means deficits, you can say that, or seen. And the three gunas means three gun means gun is virtue. So parents and teachers are considered as the primary agents of counseling during different stages of one's life. So let us see what is written in Bhagavad Gita about the counseling, or what is there in Bhagavad Gita. So we all know that it is part of the epic Mahabharata. Mahabharata, Mahabharata book. It is part of The Gita is part of Mahabharata, and there are 18 chapters and 701 verses. Shlokas are there, and the counseling process of Lord Krishna assisting Arjuna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. We know that just before the war starts between Kaurava and Pandava, so Arjuna, when after seeing the relatives from other side, Arjuna denied to fight the battle. He said, "No, I can't fight against my own relatives. What if even I win? I have to like on the bodies of my relatives. I will not say take this such type of win. So better I should not fight." And Arjuna has given so many reasons for not fighting, and he was feeling very anxious, to some extent panicking. And so that time, Lord Krishna has given certain advices to him, interacted with him. So that is basically one type of counseling you can consider. But remember this, even though after explaining each and everything, the Arjuna could not get convinced. So then Lord Krishna has to show his original form, original um, form of Brahma, you can say that, or God. Then only Arjun could get convinced. So like and sometimes what happens, some of the counselors, they basically teach Gita to their clients, but counseling is not like teaching Gita. Gita is a way of life. Srimad Bhagavad Gita is a way of life. You have to follow it. It should be in your practice. Then people will see you and then they can follow you. It's not like that telling others that karmanyavadhikaraste ma phaleshu kadachana means you do not think about the result, you just follow your duties. But saying it is very simple, but following it is very difficult. So counselors first follow these things if they want to use Gita's verses to teach or to help the client. So they should also understand the meaning and follow it. Basically, like it is mentioned clearly in the Bhagavad Gita that it is a way of life. It is a way to get moksha. So you can't teach others about how to get one, because it's clearly written in the Bhagavad Gita. Every individual has their own temperament and they select their path for moksha. Like in Gita, there are three paths mentioned: Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. So it's not that if you are feeling very comfortable in Bhakti Yoga or Jnana Yoga, like in Vedanta Darshan, it's basically based on the Gyan Yoga, what is mentioned in the Bhagavad Gita. Whereas, like Tulsidas, Mirabai, they followed Bhakti Yoga, and they got moksha by following, chanting Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, or whatever they believe in the God. So the first thing is to understand. Do not just pick and choose the verses of Gita and tell others. No, this is not the right. Go through it completely. Understand the meaning of those verses. Try to follow those verses, and then you will find there are some verses which can be utilized, so that is easy for you. So but it may not be easy for the others, so let them others also read and understand, and then let them follow their own way. So but in the history we can say that the Lord Krishna has given counseling to Arjuna in the battlefield of Kurukshetra. So it is equated with various psychotherapies of the West, for example, client-centered therapy, behavior therapy, and cognitive behavior therapy. So, like if you read the Bhagavad Gita, you will find it so mesmerizing. So many things are given there, and when you read it again and again, you will every time you will find new things, new knowledge, new aspect of understanding life, new aspect of leading your life differently. So in Bhagavad Gita, the text is subjective and abstract in nature. So see, the verses, the all those things written in the Gita are very much abstract. It means so that's why people interpret it differently. So the way you interpret, other may interpret differently. There are several religious sects based on Bhagavad Gita. They have took one part, they have taken one part of the Gita and they followed that. For example, some of the religious sects are based on Karma Yoga, whereas others are based on either Bhakti Yoga or Jnana Yoga. Almost all religious sects in India are based on one or another aspect of the Bhagavad Gita. So the like why there are so many sects in Hindu religion? Because there is a freedom to interpret all those things written in the Gita, and that's why there are multiple interpretation of Gita. And we should not say if someone interpret differently, we should not say your interpretation is wrong, because there are multiple interpretation possible. So you take which suits you. So three important approaches to understand and leading a fruitful life. Gyan, that is cognitive appraisal. Karma, that is one's action. Bhakti, that is faith in God or devotion. So what is Gyan? Gyan means in Gita it's clearly mentioned about the and all other Indian religious books. It's mentioned that Gyan means understanding the world, universe, the God, the life. So that is Gyan. If you have understood your life, your universe, your world, your God, it means you have got the Gyan. So it's like mentioned that Gyan Prapti. So as I told you, Vedanta Darshan, um, it is developed by Adi Shankaracharya. Basically, it was based on Jnana Darshan. So it is basically the according to Vedanta Darshan, people should crave for knowledge, Gyan. So it will help them to understand the things in a better manner. And cognitive therapy, basically, it is improving the knowledge, but not about the God or the universe. It's about the phenomena which is happening with the person. For example, if the person is feeling sad, getting certain thoughts that I am not good or I should die, so the cognitive therapy help the person in understanding these thoughts, the understanding the mood, understanding the behavior. So once the person develops understanding about these phenomena, thought, mood, and behavior, the person gets rid of the dukh, that is depression. So same way, like behavior therapy, it is not basically based on. It is basically based on the karma, how to modify the behavior so you can get rid of the pain or dukh or sorrow or depression. So, if you see the Vedanta Darshan, you will be surprised to know that the way the universe was explained, the God was explained, everything is very mesmerizing. And those who are very interested in developing knowledge and jnana, they will find this Vedanta Darshan is more suitable for them. They- like one statement is there, Brahm Satyam Jagat Mithya. It means only God is true, all others are illusions. So, one thing is explained in Vedanta Darshan, like this life, this universe life is like a dream. In dream we do lots of things, many things, but when we get up, when we wake, then we come to, oh, that was the dream, nothing was real. So same way, this life is like dream, but when we get gyan, when we get knowledge about the God, about the Brahma, about the Parameshwar, so then will understand that all these are illusions. Like it is mentioned in the Vedanta Darshan that even the like really blood relationship, they are illusions. Like in dream, we eat something, but in really we are not eating anything. In delusion, we are getting pain, but we are fearful. But oneself, universe, and God. Another point is karma yoga. So like many uh, philosophies are there on karma yoga. So karma yoga is basically talks about the actions which do not fetch result, or we do not seek results. So you do just your action and do not think about the result. For example, like lots of students, they get very severe anxiety during the exam or just before the exam. Why? Because they get they think about the result. They may get fail. They may fail also. If the questions are different, if the questions are difficult, then what I will do? I may get fail. I may not get maximum marks. I may not be the topper. Okay, all that. So all these type of thinking is basically based on the result. So these are the result oriented thinking. Whereas it's clear that in Gita it's written that we should focus on our duty, our karma. Like being the student, what's your duty? Your duty is just to study well, Hmm. Study enough. So whatever you can study, you should study. So if your focus is on study to gain knowledge, I should study. I should at least study 6 hours in a day. I should read all the textbooks. I should attend my all classes. Okay, so all these things will be like focusing on the karma. It's not like I should get 99% or 100% marks. So same way, like the how to lead the life, like in old age. Sometimes it's seen that the older persons, they develop depression. So one of the reason for that, they get lots of thoughts regarding their children. Okay, how they have faced difficulty while bringing up this up in the upbringing of the children, but when they are well to do, they are not paying attention to parents, they are not taking care of them. So they want something in back. There is no harm, but according to Bhagavad Gita, the karma should not be like that. Like this is your duty to give birth to children, to take care of your children, to provide them food, emotional need, to fulfill their emotional needs, physical needs. Being the parent, this is your duty. But and once you have completed your duty, then do not think anything in return from your children. Yeah, because you just feel happiness that you have done your duty well. Now your children are settled. That's one. Okay. What they will give you in return, it's up to them. It's you should not think about the returns. Okay. So that's why if you remember in the old days, like there were like in our religion it is also talked about the ashramas. Okay. Like first is uh, like brahmacharya ashram where you gain knowledge, uh, practice celibacy, do lots of things for improving your knowledge. Then girhast ashram, you get married, you start your raising your family. Then sannyas ashram, when your children are grown up, then you are slowly detached from the your family, and you are basically engaged yourself in bhakti yoga, doing lots of prayer and puja part. And then one prasthashram, if you think everything is all right, now you are not contribute to the family or anything, so you take the way to jungle. That is called one prasth ashram. So you stay in hill or jungle, and you practice meditation or other things, and then you um, leave your body, you die. So that way, like, there is no attachment, no pain, no one is taking care of you, such things are not there. In bhakti yoga, coming to that is the most important part and most easiest part. It's written that, see, those who are not very inclined to gain knowledge, or those who are not understand those complications about the God, universe, and other things, and those who cannot do lots of karma, so the bhakti yoga is best for them to get moksha. So just chanting, not doing anything, just chanting mantras, just chanting some religious things, reading religious books, and doing all those things for the God, for nothing else. So in Bhakti Yoga, generally, the God is prayed in the form of some idol or something. So generally, they worship idols of God. So hope these three things are clear to you. So let us see the karma theory. So it is called appropriate action based on cause and effect relationship of one's deed. So karma theory tells that ki whatever we had done in previous life or previous days, we are getting the result of those deeds. So as you sow, so shall you reap. And, uh, whatever seeds you will sprinkle in your field, the crops will be like that only. So this theory highlights personal responsibility. Like if I am suffering from pain, it means I have done something wrong in my earlier days of life. So good karma leads to good results, and bad karma leads to bad results. But remember, this is this may be true, but when we see the people, those who are engaged in lots of wrongdoings, they are enjoying their life. Whereas those who have done very good karmas, they are suffering. Okay, so this is interpreted in terms of previous lives also. Okay, life, not only this life, in our earlier life, if we had done something bad, so we have to complete the all those punishments taken by them. So sometimes our karmas are so bad that in one life it cannot be completed, the results of those. So we have to take those negative results in another life. So these are the karma theory. So earliest occurrence is documented in Rig Veda. Rig Veda talks about the karma theory. Action of an individual is basically cause, and the impact of the future of that individual is an effect. Then good intent and good deed contribute to good karma and future happiness, whereas bad deed contribute to bad karma and future suffering. So in Hinduism, how Hindus see this karma theory, like intent and actions has consequences. Karma lingers and doesn't disappear. All experiences in life require effort and intent. So basically, if you have done something, the result will definitely be there, and you have to see that results. So in Sikhism, it's like belief in a doctrine. We harvest exactly what we sow, no less, no more. So in Sikhism, there is a guru who used to come on the TV and talk about the Sikhism. So he has also talked about the some good karma, but these karmas are for gaining name, for name and fame. So that's why Guru Maskin Sahab, he advised people not to do such big karma. Do some small karma. Like if you want to feed the poor, first feed the poor who are nearby to you, rather than you are going to somewhere, standing on a stage, distributing food, people are taking photographs. So all such karma will induce proud into you. You may feel little uh, superpower. So you may think you are more powerful. So such things should not be done. So that's why it's mentioned that charity starts from home. Okay, like first you light your lamp in your house, then you go to the temple or mosque or church. In Buddhism, karma and karma phala keep us tied to rebirth in samsara. Jainism also talked about karma, karmic dirt. It consists of very subtle and microscopic particles. Soul's karma changes when with the thoughts and not just actions. So even in Jainism, it's mentioned that if you kill someone, it's bad karma. But if you are thinking about killing someone, it's equally bad. Okay, so my link my manasa vacha karmana. Like even if you thinking negative, if you telling negative, if they are equivalent to doing negative. So that's why we should not keep grudges in our heart for others, negative thoughts. And we sometimes what happens, we do not harm others, but we are thinking harming others. So that is also negative karma, bad karma. Coming to the mindfulness, which is basically practiced by Buddhists since long time. You can say that since Mahatma Buddha started this religion. So mindfulness is basically awareness. So the way of paying attention, which is accepting, sensitive, and independent of any thoughts or judgment. It is also a way of relating one's own experiences. Mindfulness is rooted in Buddhist and Hindu teachings. It includes a journey towards enlightenment and the concept of the attention, awareness, and being present. So you are paying attention what is happening around you. You are totally aware what is happening around you, what is happening inside you, what are the thoughts you are getting, and you are present also. So it can be integrated into cognitive behavior therapy, which is clinical psychologists practice a lot, dialectical behavior therapy, acceptance and commitment therapy. So you are aware, you are accepting all those thoughts which are coming, but you are not disturbing, you are not indulging with them, you are doing your work. So let us see what are the benefits of practicing mindfulness. It helps in developing emotional regulation. So if you are aware about your mood, thoughts, everything is coming, and you are accepting. For example, you have not got good marks in your exam, you may feel low, you may feel sad. So but you are aware. If you are practicing mindfulness, you are aware that yes, you have not got enough mark. You are sad. You are feeling low. Yes, it's okay. You are accepting, yes, I am feeling low. No problem. Cultivating better relationships promotes empathy because once you start getting aware about your own thoughts, mood, emotions, actions about yourselves, so it will develop empathy in you to understand others. So you may not give negative comments, rather you will try to understand the other person. Mindfulness also helps in accepting reality and cultivating patience. So you will accept reality. Now, like the children are changing, their temperament is different. So mindfulness will help you in accepting this. This is the reality now, and it will also help you in developing patience. And so you will not be agitated. It is also help in develop consciousness about various things, and most importantly it develops the insight about one's behavior and thought process. So like most of us generally do not have insight about our behavior, about our thought. That's why we get disturbed about our behavior or thought. So once we develop our insight about our behavior and thought, we will behave normally. We will behave in an appropriate manner, and our pain will be less. Like if I want to take revenge from my friend, for example, or some other person, my neighbor. So such type of thoughts will be there, and I'm not aware. So if I try to understand why I am so agitated, why I am behaving like this, so I can understand that all these phenomena. So there is some confusion that flow and mindfulness are same, but they are different. So flow is basically a state in which one is completely absorbed in an activity and loses self-awareness. And you all know that in mindfulness, the self-awareness must be there, and it is acceptance is also there. So that's why many people started practicing mindfulness. Let us see how mindfulness is different from meditation. So, mindfulness is a form of meditation, there's no doubt, because generally people sit in a meditative position or lie down in a yoga position. So, but it can be woven into any activity like talking, walking, communication, studying, etc. Like if the student is studying, he can practice mindfulness. Certain thought may come about the result, about the tension, about the anything. So if the student can understand that okay, I am getting such type of thought, and I have to study. I am studying. Let the thought come and go. It can be cultivated within or outside of formal meditation, and but meditation includes many practices to achieve higher level of consciousness, one of which is mindfulness. So what is the integrative approach? An individual is an integration of mind, body and soul. We all know that. Origin in Taittiriya Upanishad. So it's and a person has five dimensions: annamay kosh, pranamay kosh, manomay kosh, vijnanamay kosh, and anandamay kosh. So like uh, what these courses are doing, so it's called panch course model. They're given in Taittiriya Upanishad. So annamay course is basically you might be remembering this Maslow's hierarchy model. So same Annamaya course is basically concerned about the physiological system of the body and their functions. We need food, water to keep this body alive. Then pranamaya cause like psychophysical dimensions, including experiences of sensation. So, if there is no pran, we cannot uh, have any type of sensation or perception. So that's why we are called dead body. Manomaya cause refers to mind, emotions, and mental mechanisms. Vijnanamaya cause higher cognitive functions. Gyan, Anandamaya cause basically bliss, spiritual dimension of a person. It's not just enjoyment; it's a like blissful life. So generally, this Annamaya course is the basic thing required, but we have to progress and we should go to our inner conscious, that is Anandamaya course. To see the yoga and meditation. What is yoga? Yoga derived from a Sanskrit word called use, meaning union or joining. So union with God. So yoga means union with the God. So this is practice that integrates and develops mind, body, brain, and soul. Regular practice helps in stress management and improves positive mental health. But see, this is the um, short-term goal to manage your stress, to improve positive mental health. These are the short term goal. But long term goal of yoga and meditation is to connect with the supreme power, that is called God. Benefits of yoga and meditation: it increases self awareness, developing a sense of connection and relatedness, not only with the near and dear, with God also, cultivating and strengthening healthy attitudes and behavior. It reduces stress and tension, developing self acceptance. So, those who perform yoga and meditation, they accept themselves, because sometimes you might be seeing some of the adolescents, they are very much concerned about their height, their color of their skin, their facial face and other things. So why? Because they have not developed self acceptance. So yoga and meditation can also help them in developing self-acceptance. So 8 steps or Ashtanga yoga, or 8 limbs of the yoga, is considered Ashtanga yoga. Generally, we call it. So they are yam, niyam, asan, pranayam, pratyahar, dharana, dhyan, or samadhi. So yam means moral conduct and commandments. Niyam means daily life practices and duties, and asana is physical postures. Pranayam is breathing exercise. Most of nowadays, most of people do pranayam and asanas. Pratyahar is withdrawal of the senses, like it is like practice of detachment. Dharana, concentration. Dhyan, meditation. Samadhi is stand still state of psyche. So once you are in samadhi, means you are connected with God, or you have understood yourself completely. Let us see what Ayurveda talks about. Ayu means life, Veda means knowledge, and the science of life, and involves caring for one's physical, mental, as well as spiritual health. So, like earlier, Ayurveda was used as a preventive health. So, like people used to practice Ayurveda not to get ill. Ayurveda also talks about three gunas: sattva, rajas, and tamas. Sattva guna is basically purity and contentment, whereas rajas guna is characterized by love for power, action, fame, and lust. Whereas tamas guna is basically anger, ignorance, greed, suicide, or homicide. And it also talks about three dosa. As I told you, three means three. So based on body humors like Vat, Pit, and Kaph, like Vat is Vayu, wind, Pit is bile, and uh, Kaph is phlegm. So Ayurveda considers the person as a whole, Purusha. So Ayurveda talks about Purush and Prakriti. Purush is a human being, Prakriti is nature. So, human only remain healthy till he is connected with Prakriti. When the gap between Purush and Prakriti widens, the problem starts. So humans should remain in touch with the nature. That's why Ayurveda use lots of um, plants, these leaves, roots for curing the problems. Let us see what is Vedantic counseling. So, based on Vedas, and it's primarily focused upon self knowledge and cosmic knowledge. And we all know that there are four Vedas: Rig Veda, Yajur Veda, Sam Veda, and Atharveda. For main goals of this form of counseling, these are like dharma, the righteous action, not just religious rituals. Athar means wealth, Kam means pleasure, Moksha means liberation. So it talks about all these things. Guru Shishya Parampara was also seen in our ancient Indian culture. So, like teacher disciple tradition, epitome of counseling practice, students were expected to live with their gurus or teachers in Gurukul, and it is mentioned in Indian mythologies. Guru shows the path and creates holistic environment for learning. Guru serves the future of the student, Shishya. So basically, in Guru Shishya Parampara, it was not only Guru is teaching, knowledge, giving knowledge to the Guru. It is responsibility of the Guru to develop the Shishya as a holistic person. So that's why the Guru teaches the student in survival skills, life skills, and so many skills. Integrated psychology of Sri Aurobindo. So emphasis on the evolution of consciousness at the collective and cosmic level, and focus on self-observation. Counseling is considered a journey of the divine in the person, and movement from infra-rational, that is animal, to the more rational, that is human, or supranational, that is divine existence. Implication of Indian cultural context for counseling: emphasis on independence, less focus on materialism. Like in Western culture, materialism was very much high, but in earlier in our culture it was not so. Now it is developing in our culture also, our country also. Family is the focal point in Indian social cultural context. Mata, Pita, Guru, and Deva, that is God, play a very important role in our socialization. In Indian context, counseling is seen as removing and modifying or retarding existing symptoms, mediating disturbed pattern of behavior, promoting positive personality growth and development. So, what is the way forward? The Indian approaches to counseling focus on the person as a whole, and the focus on socio-cultural background of a person, strong relationship between mental health and socio-cultural beliefs. Problems related to mental health becomes the reason for stigmatization. A need of culture-sensitive counseling approaches are required. So this was the indigenous approaches of Indian counseling. Now discussing, we'll discuss about the counseling and technology. So what we are going to discuss in this unit? We'll try to understand what is counseling and technology, online counseling, advantage of online counseling and disadvantage, and ethical considerations. So traditionally, counseling was delivered in face-to-face mode. We all know that. Technology advancement has made it possible to deliver in the remote areas, and technology has provided a platform for counseling services. You must be aware that during the COVID and especially lockdown, people have started using Zoom, Google Meet, other online platform to connect with their client and do provide counseling online. So this was the new basically in our country. Now everyone is willing to take those who cannot come for sessions, those who are residing distant, so they can take online counseling. So role of technology in counseling, taking appointments for counseling by email, telephone, or website. See, so no need to come. And then once, like what happens sometimes, you have come for counseling or you have come for appointment and you come to know that your counselor is on leave, so you have to go back. So due to advent of technology, no need to come. You can write to email to a counselor, sir, I am coming on this day. Tomorrow I am coming. Will you be available? Or you can WhatsApp him or her. Or there are institute website where you can take appointments. So this life becomes very easy. So making records of the counseling sessions, you can keep all the records of counseling session, offering online counseling services. Not only appointment, you can offer the counseling online also, on phone, on WhatsApp video call, or on Zoom or Google Meet. And then conducting counseling sessions, monitoring the progress of client over time. So once the, like in face-to-face counseling, once the client has gone, you cannot contact the client until and unless the client comes back. So now you can have in between booster session online. You can track record of the client. You can provide some homework and ask the client to send those homework, email or WhatsApp. So whatever mode of you are using. So all those things are possible now. So you can monitor the progress. Suppose you have given homework, so you can monitor the progress of the homework. Doing homework and assignments given as a part of counseling intervention, conducting assessment. So lots of assessment done during the lockdown or COVID time online only. Google Forms were used. And the IGNOU students also, they have done internship online, they have submitted assignments online, they have conducted practical online, they have submitted practical files online. So it made some, like the 2 years time of COVID was utilized due to technology only. Otherwise, it would be a very difficult for the student and teacher to continue the study. So areas in which technology can be used, like information related services, communication, interaction and holding meetings or conferences, delivery of services, assessment. You might remember that many conferences went virtual, online conferences. You have to pay a minimum amount of money, registered and attend the conference on Zoom. So, so let us see a little bit about online counseling. Interaction between counselor and client mediated by internet-based technology. Different names like e-counseling, online therapy, e-therapy, internet counseling, web counseling, etc. It is called virtual counseling. It has an edge over the traditional mode of counseling. There are lots of benefits for online counseling. So, as we have discussed, what are the modes of online counseling? Email, online chat, video conferencing, telephone-based counseling, social media, web-based counseling, supportive website with self-help modules. So these are the modes of online counseling, and online counseling can be conducted like this. So it basically depends upon the comfort level of the counselor and the client. So which mode they prefer. So email is basically just writing about the problem, then counselor will write about the discuss about the, but and chatting is also same thing. But where video conferencing and web-based counseling is much easier for the client and the counselor, because sometimes to see the client, their facial expressions are also very important in online counseling. So let us see what are the advantages of online counseling. It increased accessibility to counseling services, no doubt. Now, many clinical psychologists are overwhelmed with the clients. Why? Because during the COVID time, everybody wants session due to the anxiety, some of them feeling panicky, some of them develop depression, some of them develop some other problems, some of them develop eating have bad eating habits. So lots of issues, interpersonal issues, because everyone was in the family for longer 2 months, 3 months due to lockdown. So lots of interpersonal issues started. So what happens? People started seeking counseling online, and there were all clinical psychologists. They started providing counseling online, and now the trend is going on. Still, people are taking online counseling. So, what happened due to this facility? It increased accessibility to counseling services. Now, if you ask any clinical psychologist for appointment, they will give you at least after 3 or 4 weeks. They are so busy, lots of patients, lots of clients they are having. So decreased stigmatization of people receiving counseling services. Like earlier, people were not going to psychiatrist, psychologist. Why? Because other may see and think, oh, the person is having some problem. That's why he is going to the center. People used to avoid going mental hospitals because they think the others will see them, and they may spread this information. He is mad or she is mad. So online counseling basically decreased stigmatization of people, then enhanced connectivity between counselor and the client. As I told you earlier, client has to come to the clinic or hospital. Now and then only, and sometimes the counselor may be on leave or may not be there. So the visit will go in vain. So now it's like it became more easy for the patient, and less influence of geographical location of counselor and client. So counselor is in Delhi and client is in Bihar or Bengal, can take counseling uh, very easily. Its time efficiency, like lots of time is saved in commuting the or transportation, cost effective and affordable, and it is very convenient. So these are the basically benefits of the counseling. But there are disadvantages also. Like you are just seeing the person on a screen, so you may miss certain non-verbal cues of the patient. That is one thing. Then poor understanding of emotional expression. And sometimes, like when you are doing counseling face to face, you can manage the crying behavior, you can manage the client's other behavior, violent behavior. But when you are doing online, You cannot manage the client behavior. It's very difficult. Sometimes it's very difficult. Okay, sometimes the client may log out from the session immediately, and you can't then connect with the client. So such type of situation may create lots of problem for the counselor. Another disadvantage, big disadvantage, is commercialization of mental health services. So now everyone is counselor, putting their advertisement, and they do online counseling. There is no accountability, nothing. Less effective in dealing with the emergency situation. In emergency situation, the face-to-face counseling is, as I told, given. Suppose client is suicidal, you can't do anything. And issues related to technology competence of the counselor and the client. So some of the counselor are not very computer savvy, techno savvy, or just many of the clients residing in villages or small cities are not very much well versed with the technology. And sometimes in our country, internet is also not that much supportive. Social and cultural differences between counselor and the client. So, so if the social and cultural differences, the online counseling will create lots of problem. So, what are the ethical considerations in counseling? Any type in technology counseling, it is almost very much required, like confidentiality of the client. So even though you are doing counseling at home, it should be done in a separate room, not in front of your family member. Then there are certain security issues, other may breach or may hack the system. Informed consent is very much required for online counseling as well as offline counseling. And technological competence of the counselor is very much needed. And a sense of distance from the counselor. Dehumanization of the counseling process. So in online counseling, basically the human touch is not there. So to some extent, it looks like you are degrading the human being. You are not very much giving importance to the person, and so So in face-to-face counseling, clients generally they feel connected to the counselor. Counselor also very easy for the counselor to show the empathy. But in online counseling, the sense of distance from the counselor is perceived. So lots of ethical issues are there in online counseling, like all the sessions are recorded. So sometimes client's family member may ask the sessions. So that may create problem. So what are the regulatory bodies around the world? There are many in Western countries. There are a number. In our country, only Rehabilitation Council of India, which manages the functioning of clinical psychologists in our country. And as I told you that due to technology, the counseling become very easy, but lots of issues arise due to counseling because everywhere counselor, even though the known trend, those who are not having license doing counseling, that is not correct. So we should follow the law of the land. And sometimes, if you are residing in India and you are doing counseling for other countries, so that is also having certain legal issues. So we should be aware about all those things. So thank you all for patience listening. So today we have discussed about the indigenous approaches of counseling which is there in our country and technology in counseling. Thank you again.